Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keeping Fish Simple. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about the bristlenose pleco or the bristlenose catfish. These guys are an awesome community fish and are super useful in a wide variety of different aquariums. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about them, how to breed them, how to care for them and all of that. So make sure you stay around to the end of the video to get all of the information, and without any further ado, let's get started. What exactly are bristlenose? Well, these guys are a small type of pleco. They're part of the Plecostomus family, and these guys are like a catfish that has like a big sucker mouth and stays on like the surface of different things in the aquarium. So they're not going to be free swimming in the body of water, they're going to be stuck to surfaces. That's basically what the plecos are. Males and females look a little bit different, but you can't really tell when they're young. So once these guys get a little bit older, about that year age or year and a half, the males will develop big bristles like on the front of their face, and the females won't. They might develop a few little whiskers here and there, but not like the males. They can be pretty freaky looking, or if you want to look at them in a different way, I think they look really cool. Now, there's heaps of these guys that you can choose from nowadays. Breeders have done an awesome job to give you guys a really wide variety of different types to choose from. Common ones that you'll see are just your commons. There's albinos, there's long fins, and there's like green dragons, there's super reds, even peppermints, which aren't really a bristlenose, but they do the kind of the same job. Plenty of different types to choose from, and per size, these guys, once they get to that real mature age, they can get anywhere from about 15 to 20 centimeters. So you have to keep that in mind, but that takes a very long time and a lot of feeding before they get to that size. Most of the time when you go to the fish shop, they'll be about a couple of inches or a couple of centimeters. They're not a crazy big fish, but they will need a little bit of a bigger tank. Which brings me on to my second point, which are the tank conditions. So these guys, I would say a minimum tank for one bristlenose is like a community tank, and you want that tank to be about a 20-gallon tank, which is like a 2-foot tank, or about 80 liters to 60 liters, and that should be pretty good for one bristlenose. If you want to, you can kind of jam them in there depending on the stocking levels, but that's the normal size for these guys. And the important things for these guys is to make sure there's hiding places, whether it be like some driftwood where they can go underneath and just get away, or like a big rock or something like that to hide under. One of the essential things that a lot of people don't consider is adding driftwood, because these guys actually eat driftwood. It takes them a long time and they don't eat a lot of it, but what they do is they rasp on it. They pick off all that diatom and stuff on there, and they use those vitamins, and they're essential for their diet. I think it's a necessity to have some kind of driftwood in there, whether it be just a little tiny piece of bogwood or something like that, just for them to rasp on and eat over time. Now, the water parameters for these guys are pretty like wide and vast. Your common bristlenose aren't going to be too fussy. You're going to want to keep it in normal community tank conditions, so you don't want really high pH and hard water like African cichlid water, but you want to stick for more of that really soft water like your Amazonian water, because that's where these guys come from. They come from South America. So that's a pH from about 6 to 7.5 and a temperature of about 78 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. They will take a wide variety of different temperatures, but they can't take cold water, so you will need a heater in your aquarium. Now, one of the things that's really important and the essential part of the care of bristlenose is the diet. So a lot of people think these guys are cleaner fish. They're not cleaner fish at all. What they will do is they will eat the surface algae in your aquarium, which makes them very useful, and that's the useful thing about these guys. And because they are a bottom feeder, they will eat some food that falls to the bottom, but they don't eat poop and they don't clean up and just only eat that stuff. So when I say the algae on the aquarium, they'll only eat that surface green stuff. They don't eat any of the hair algae, blackbeard algae or anything like that. Get that idea out of your mind quick. They're just really good for making sure the glass of the aquarium stays clean. But the reason I say the diet's super important is because a lot of people think that because they're a cleaner fish, they don't need to feed them because they just eat poop and stuff like that. Now, that is definitely not true at all. You do need to feed these guys specialty foods, and what I would recommend, and it might seem a little bit funny to a lot of you beginners, is zucchini and green beans. They absolutely love it because these guys are herbivoreal fish. They don't want lots of protein, so don't feed them heaps of protein because you'll bloat them, but feed them heaps and heaps of veggie matter and stuff like that, and they'll really thank you for it. Feeding zucchini is super fun to watch because what you do is you cut a piece of zucchini from like a grocery store and you sink it down, like I like to use a fork, and you sink it down to the bottom of the tank, and what the bristlenose are going to do is they're going to go up there and they're going to like eat it, like literally just come up and suck on it, and it's super funny to watch. You can also add like canned green beans just to the aquarium if you drain the water. But another important thing is to get some kind of like pleco or algae wafer, because it has heaps of different vitamins and stuff like that, which they absolutely love. That's what I would recommend. There's all different types of algae wafers and pleco wafers that you can get. Those are really good foods to feed these guys. One important thing too is to make sure you do vary up your diet. You're not going to just feed like only algae wafers or only zucchini. I love to vary it up and feed all different kinds of foods all the time to keep their guts going well. Now, like I said, these guys are super easy to care for. They're not prone to many diseases at all. They're definitely one of the easiest fish to take care of, so they go great with heaps and heaps of different types of community fish like guppies, angelfish, dwarf cichlids, anything like that. They go really, really good with. Even Corydoras they go well with. And that's basically it for the care of these guys, so we can start to talk about the breeding, which is really, really fun and exciting. And they're definitely one of my favorite fish to breed. Even though they're not a high dollar fish, they are definitely one of the most fun to breed. If you guys want like an in-depth guide on how to breed these guys, there's going to be a link up in the top right hand corner. I made a whole breeding series. What you're going to need to breed these guys is a male and a female, mature. You won't breed when they're very, very young. They need to be at least about a year to a year and a half in age before they start breeding, but you're going to want a male and a female, and you're going to need some form of cave. So you can buy bristlenose pleco caves from your local fish store or anything like that, or even online. And then what you're going to notice is once you add all of those things to your tank, the male is going to take that cave and he's going to like call it his, and he's going to be dominant over that cave. And what the female is going to do is you're just going to keep feeding them, feed them up, and the female is going to get really plump with eggs. And what will happen is the male is going to come out of that cave and try and attract the female to come into the cave. These guys are nocturnal, so this could happen at night. What will happen is that female will go into the cave, he's going to trap her in there until she lays eggs, and then he's going to let her out, he's going to fertilize those eggs, and he's going to take care of them for the next week until they're ready to come out, where they are tiny little baby bristlenose. He'll do all the work, he'll sit in there fanning away to make sure there's no fungus growing on those eggs, and he'll protect the eggs from getting eaten by anyone else. So it's pretty hands-off and really fun to watch. But one of the things that can happen to a lot of people is that they have big angelfish or something like that above. So once the bristlenose babies do get released, they just get eaten. If you have something like that, you're going to want to separate them out before they come out of the cave. But it's really, really hands-off and super easy, and the baby bristlenose are so cute. So once they're ready to come out of the cave, they will just eat the same food as their parents, whether it be zucchini or green beans or algae wafers. Yeah, it's super, super fun. That's pretty much it for these guys. It's super easy to take care of and breed, and definitely something that's super useful in a bunch of different planted tanks and stuff like that. It's also important to note that these guys won't hurt your plants or anything like that. They won't damage planted aquariums or anything like that, like other different kinds of plecos will. These are really, really good for planted aquariums. That's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.